not what makes a singer unique, because all of these techniques we keep. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of coffee for one more vocal analysis. And today we're going to listen to Bella Ramsey singing Take On Me by a-ha. And this happened in the episode 4 of the second season of The Last of Us. I'm extremely excited to hear that. I must say that I've watched the episode already. But I played the game, and The Last of Us Part 2 is, well, quite a game. I wouldn't say that it is my favorite game. I have a love for this specific PlayStation 2 game, Castlevania Lament of Innocence. But to me, The Last of Us, and especially The Last of Us Part 2, was the best game ever made. Like the story, the characters, the graphics, the mechanics. To me, the game is just fantastic. And I think they're doing a fantastic job also with the TV show. And yeah, I really like the game. I'm really liking the show. And for those who are just getting here, my name is Caio. I'm a singer-songwriter and a voice teacher. I teach voice to laryngeal mechanics, physiology, and that's mostly what we are going to talk about here when we listen to Bella Ramsey's performance. Alright, so without further ado, let's go. Let's hit the play. Turning that guitar. Yeah, it's good. I can say that if she's turning the guitar by ear, her ear is pretty good. Guitar was my first instrument, acoustic guitar. In fact, my plan was to be a guitarist. And as I was learning acoustic guitar, I realized that, my real thing is vocals. I like to sing more than I like to play the guitar. But I was never really good at tuning by ear. I would always use apps or tuners to be able to, see. It's not that I can tune by ear, but it's never 100%. Okay, so first thing, when we are singing, our vocal folds can be either active or passive. They are active when we have the muscles more engaged, so the vocal folds themselves are closing with a bit more strength, and that adds resistance. Whenever we're sending air, and when we sing or when we talk, we are producing voice, we are sending air, that air passes through the vocal folds. If the vocal folds are active, closing by will, volition, then that air will face more resistance, and the sound will be harder. So air against soft tissue, a softer sound. Air against hard tissue, a harder sound. And with our vocal folds, we have the capacity of changing that as we sing. So the way I'm speaking right now, my vocal folds are active. I'm using that muscle tension to close the vocal folds. The vocal folds themselves are active. But if I want to relax my vocal folds, they are still closing, but we say that they are closing in a passive way. They're closing in passive tension. So when we have that passive sound, what's causing the vocal folds to close is what we call the Coanda effect. The Coanda effect is a physical effect. Because we are sending air and we don't have the muscles resisting that much, that air will pass in the middle and invite the vocal folds. We will pull the vocal folds to the center. So we're saying that the vocal folds are closing, but in passive tension. And that's mostly what she's doing here. You can hear that the sound is really, really soft and gentle and sweet. And that's the whole intention behind her singing here and the whole scene. Yeah, I really like it. Come on. Come on. That was also passive vocal folds. And now we don't even have that closure. Her vocal folds are really open there to allow that breathiness. Come on.
Okay.
Same thing.
Shy away. I'll be coming for your love, okay?
The same thing here. We call that a breathy voice. A breathy voice is a kind of vocal scheme. We have a few different ways of singing with passive vocal folds. We have something that we call a breathy voice, which is just this adjustment. I have a lot of breathiness in my voice. I'm allowing escape of air, and I still have my vocal folds vibrate to create a pitch. I still have that, but at the same time, I have a lot of breathiness. I'm allowing the escape of air. That's one thing. I have what we call a crystal voice. A crystal voice is firmer. We have the vocal folds closing. We have the firming muscles, which are the muscles in the back of your throat. And here we have the lateral cricoarytenoid muscles. And the arytenoid muscles, both transverse and obliques, they are embracing more the vocal folds. And then we have a really firm sound. She might use that here and there during the song. We have what we call a Gregorian voice, which is when I have a soft sound, but I'm projecting a bit more. And we also have what we call a weak voice. She's singing a lot with the weak voice here, which is when you're singing and you are trying not to be heard at all. You're just singing super quiet, super quiet. So we have a lot of weak voice here. And it's not that common in contemporary music in general, because imagine that sometimes you'll be in situations where you have a drum set behind you and you have guitars and amps and basses, and it's just not that practical to be singing like that. But then if you are only playing with an acoustic guitar, or I wouldn't even say a piano, depending on the pitch. If it is higher, it is a bit more practical. You gain a bit of volume. But yeah, in a situation like that, like you want to be quiet. This is a zombie apocalypse, so you don't want to be noisy. And yeah, all right, let's keep going. Me, that's a breathy voice. Take. This is a bit more of a Gregorian. We have a bit more projection. Take.
Me.
Breathy. Me. Listen to that breathiness, that escape of air. Again. Breathy.
I'll be gone.
Yeah, also a breathy. And this is like part of the idea of you're singing soft. You don't want to add too much. This is supposed to sound easy. And when I say it's supposed to sound easy, we don't want that to sound as if she was belting that out. No, that's not the idea. The idea is to show that everything is super easy and she's just like having fun playing the guitar and just in this beautiful moment. Look at the landscape. Photography of this show is also like, and this is like, it's pretty much the same scene as it happens in the show. And also, let me know if you like to analyze the version that appears in the show with Ashley Johnson singing the song as Ellie. I would do that.
In a day or two. So needless to say,
here we do have some needless to say. I would say that we do have a bit of weak.
needless to say,
Still mostly breathy. Needless to say.
I'm odds and ends, but I'll be stumbling away.
Yeah, I would say that. Away, stumbling away. It's a bit more of a weak voice. You don't want volume. Like, if you hear the guitar louder than your voice for this part, that's good. That's what we're aiming for. And of course, even though we don't see it here, she has a microphone when she's recording that and all that. If you want this kind of sound, don't expect to be on a stage with the acoustic guitar with no microphones and amplification whatsoever. That just won't work. If you want this kind of sound, then you need a microphone, because you want it to sound gentle, but you want people to hear. Unless, like, you're singing to only one person, that person is close, just like happens in the scene. So, yeah. This is a big problem, in fact, in contemporary singing. People, like, listen to sounds and they think that the sound can be achieved, the same sound without microphone, when in fact, in contemporary singing, most of the sounds that we use are only doable in a healthy way because we have the microphone. Because in classical singing, you need to sing without microphones, or in a certain period of history sir, you needed to sing to a whole theater without a microphone, and that's the way that the technique evolved to a specific style, to a specific sound or set of sounds that in contemporary singing, we apply different sounds. And some of these sounds are only healthy or are only achievable in a healthy way because we can sing with the microphone really close. And some of them would be those really passive and soft sounds that she's doing here.
Slowly learning that life is okay. Say after me. It's no better to be safe than sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I would say at those moments that we hear a bit more firmness. It's almost like she's holding back. It's almost like she's holding back. Safe and sorry. Safe and... That's a crystal voice. Whenever it feels like we're holding back, safe and sorry. It's not safe and sorry, nor safe and sorry. No, it's like safe and sorry. It's quiet, but it's not a weak, because in the weak, everything is just so relaxed. And here, it feels like we're holding back. That's the idea behind the crystal voice. Listen to that, the dynamics between on and me. It starts with the crystal. And then she transforms that into a crystal. She starts with the crystal and then she transforms that into a breathy. On me, on me.
Take me on.
Breathy.
I'll be gone.
Breathy. And this is not loud, this is not strong, but sometimes we do gain a bit of volume just because the pitch is higher. For instance, she's not doing that, let me double check here. Yeah, she's not doing that really high pitch that we have in the original one. Well, she's singing...
I'll be gone.
I'll be gone. In the original it would be... And well, that's the E. We can sing that either with the crystal voice, the way I'm doing here. I could get closer to the microphone when I sing that, like... and keep a crystal voice, or I can change to a Gregorian voice and apply a bit more subglottic pressure, more air pressure to make it a bit more forward, like... the same pitch, but now I'm using more subglottic pressure. The crystal feels a bit firmer. It's almost like I'm holding back. The Gregorian is a bit more forward. I'm projecting a bit more. I'm allowing the projection. And that's the main difference. The original song, he would use both of them depending on the performance. I would say that on the record, it feels way more like a crystal voice. And then whenever I stop to listen to some live versions, sometimes it feels that he's going more for the Gregorian, so a bit more volume, but both of them passive. So the vocal folds are not active there. And here we have that choice of changing slightly the melody. It's not like she couldn't hit the high note. She obviously can sing that note, but sometimes, like the way and that's something that I tell my students, guys, when we're singing a song, the techniques themselves, the sounds themselves, they are not what makes a singer unique, because all of these techniques, we can all learn them. Like, don't worry, you can learn how to produce the crystal voice, the weak voice, the Gregorian voice, the breathy. You can learn all of that. But what will make you sound different, what will make you sound you, and what makes Bella Ramsey her, what makes every singer unique is that when we organize those sounds to sing a song, we organize them according to our own story. And everyone will use these sounds, assuming that we know how to use all of these techniques. We will organize them in a way that's unique because we are unique as human beings, because we have all a different story. And that's the case here. So it's all about choices. The way that you're singing each word, the way that you're singing each phrase, the way that you choose the sounds that you're using during the sound, that's all on you. And I would say that the melody is also part of that. She's changing slightly the melody because it makes sense for this scenario. It's not like Ellie is in the middle of everything that's going on with her, and she's also a singer that stops to do vocal exercises every now and then to be able to keep singing those high notes. No, that's not the case. So I'd say that the way that they decided to express this singing here is really accurate. And it makes sense. It is, I really like it. So, in my opinion, quite beautiful as well. I think she's singing fantastically well with those techniques. And yeah, I would like to hear more of her singing. That in a day, I heard a week. Breathy. Breathy. In a day. Great example of weak voice. And the weak voice is quite a rare vocal scheme in contemporary music. We do have the weak voice every now and then, but it's not so common as the other ones. So it's really good when we have examples, especially because I collect them. So every time that I need to teach them for my private students, and I can show, oh, look at this here. That's an example of weak voice. And from now on, I'll definitely use this performance here as an example of weak voice. Breathy. In a day. Again, weak voice. Into breathy voice. Yeah. I feel you, Dina. I feel the same way. It hits hard. Yeah, so I'd say that this performance here is a lesson on passive vocal schemes. If you are into singing soft, if you are into that gentle and sweet and soft vocal style, then that's definitely something that I would recommend you to work on. I think that Bella Ramsey is doing a fantastic job not only singing the song, but as Ellie in general. I've seen all the crazy stuff that's happening on the internet right now, and I need to say that I played the game. To me, it's one of the best games, if not the best game ever made in the history of humanity. I really like the game, and I watch the show, and I'm always like, she's portraying Ellie so well, but so well. Let me know in the comments which of these vocal schemes, we have the breathy, the crystal, the weak, the Gregorian, which of them you already use in your singing. If you like this kind of content, subscribe to the channel so that you stay on top every time that we release new videos. Let me know in the comment section what you want me to analyze next or to cover here next. And if you want to develop your own voice, I'll leave the link in the description for my online course, Building Your Voice, where we cover not only these passive schemes here, we talk about active vocal schemes, how to belt, we talk about transition between them, we talk about warm-ups, ornaments like the vibratos, the yodels, runs, we talk about vocal distortions, we cover all that. We also have an extra module on music theory for singers, so we cover a whole range of different topics that will make you a better singer. Check the link in the description. And remember, if your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, they must change and not the world.